Hi everyone, I'm Kristin MacDonald. I'm a registered dietitian. I previously lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina with my husband and our young twins. And I used to provide cooking demonstrations with Better Health when I lived there. But we've moved to Virginia, and now that your program has gone virtual, I'm partnering with Better Health once again to provide some recorded cooking demonstrations for you. And I'm excited to be doing this. Today, I'm going to prepare a stuffed zucchini. So, many of you may prepare meat sauce and spaghetti or meat sauce and pasta as a quick dinner for your families, but this is a spin on that meal, trying to incorporate one of my favorite vegetables, zucchini. So, I've already cut up one zucchini here. Normally I like to do this with one really big zucchini, but it works with two smaller zucchinis as well, and that's what I found at the store today. I hollow them out to make a boat, and I do this using a melon baller. You don't have to use a melon baller. You can actually cut through the center of the zucchini without going all the way through the skin to hollow it out as well. However, the melon baller can be a lot of fun, and the kids can help with this. So I'll show you how I do that with one of the zucchinis. So I'm going to cut off two ends and then carefully try to cut the zucchini in half lengthwise as evenly as possible. And just a good sharp knife will help you do this. So I ended up with my two halves. And then I'm going to use a melon baller to, once again, try not to get through that skin, but get nice chunks of zucchini out. Oh, and I went into the edge, but that's okay. That's gonna happen, and if the kids help, it certainly will. I'll continue with this once I get my stuffing started. So I said it's a spin on pasta and meat sauce. I am using a ground turkey tonight. You can also use ground beef. A lot of people think ground turkey is automatically healthier than ground beef, and the key is actually the percentage of lean meat to fat. So this is a 94% lean ground turkey, which means it only has 6% fat. You can buy 90% or leaner ground beef, and that's what I recommend for people, is to select any ground meat that is 90% lean meat and 10% fat, or a smaller ratio of fat would work as well. So I'm going to take the ground meat and put it into just a little frying pan here. And just kind of break it up gently. If you want to, you can add a splash of olive oil, especially if you don't have a great non-stick pan. My pan is non-stick, so I'm not going to use any olive oil tonight, but I am going to add right in there half of an onion chopped and 2 garlic cloves. I used garlic from the bulb like this tonight, but recently I've started buying this packaged minced garlic, which is a way to avoid having to chop up those little garlic cloves. So about a teaspoon of this prepackaged garlic is equal to 1 clove, so it would be 2 teaspoons of this. I'm just going to dump it right in there and then head over to my stove to get this browning over a medium-high heat. Then I will continue with balling up my zucchini. So again, that is a step that my kids love to help with. And I'm going to just continue along here, making these little balls, and this is actually going to join the meat in the stuffing once the meat gets cooked up. So zucchini is a really versatile vegetable. You may have seen zucchini noodles in the grocery store, and those are fun. You can make them at home, or you can buy them prepackaged, and they can actually be a pasta replacement. You can eat zucchini blossoms. I've never actually cooked them myself, but I have had them in a restaurant, and they're really fun and tasty as well. And zucchini falls into the family of summer squash. So it's one of my favorite vegetables that my mom grew in the garden growing up. And we used to see how big she could grow a zucchini, and we always enjoyed making zucchini boats. I hear my meat starting to sizzle away. So I did that kind of quickly, and like I said, it's not a big deal if you get some holes in there, but what you want is just a little bit of a boat that you can put your stuffing inside of, and these are going to bake in an oven, though most of the ingredients will be fully cooked already. So over here my meat is sizzling away, and you just want to kind of break it up with a spoon or a fork. Combine the garlic and the onions with the meat. I'm going to add a little pepper. You can kind of do this to taste, probably about a 1/4 teaspoon to a 1/2 teaspoon of ground pepper, and just a little bit of salt as well. And let this cook thoroughly. It will continue to cook in the oven, but I think if you cook it up as much as possible on the stovetop, the time in the oven will be less. I'm going to put a lid on it to kind of help it along. So once that gets going a little bit, I'm going to add a pasta sauce to it, just a jarred pasta sauce. And I like to pick one where you can see that it is lower sugar. So Ragu now makes a Simply version of their traditional sauce, and it actually says no sugar added. A lot of people don't realize that tomato sauces that are pre-packaged can be a source of unnecessary added sugar in your diet. So if it doesn't say anything like that obvious on the packaging, you can look at the ingredients and look for sugar towards the end of the ingredient list or no sugar indicated in the ingredients at all. One of the things I like about this meal is the fact that you can try to have people maybe try a vegetable they're not as familiar with, or at least not familiar with in this way, but you can also kind of serve it the traditional way that kids typically like. So I always enjoy eating a zucchini boat. My husband will occasionally try it, the kids will occasionally try it, but if they're not in the mood for it that particular evening, I like to prepare some pasta on the side. You can serve the meat sauce without the zucchini in it on top of the pasta, or you can serve it with the zucchini added on top of the pasta, or someone can go right for a boat. So you can kind of please everybody in the family without too many different meals having to be made at once. So I'll go ahead and add my pasta sauce while this is cooking up here. I like to add the whole jar. If you like it a little less saucy, you could add a little bit less. The other thing I've done with this is when I run out of room in my zucchini to stuff, I have actually put the stuffing just in a casserole dish and put a little cheese on top of that and baked the stuffing alone. So if you're watching your starch or carbohydrate intake for any reason, you can do that and it's still a very satisfying meal. So we'll let that cook for another couple of minutes. If you've never used a melon baller before, they're an inexpensive little kitchen tool that you can pick up. And there's usually a big side or a small side, which is great with the different sizes of zucchini that you can find, because when I have a larger zucchini, I typically use the bigger side. When I have a smaller zucchini, I use the smaller side. And you can use this to cut up honeydew melon or cantaloupe melon, and that can be kind of a fun way to get the kids involved in cutting up and serving fruit and eating it in a different way as well. I will be adding a little bit of cheese on top of the zucchini boats. If you are lactose intolerant or prefer to leave dairy out of your diet, these are equally delicious without including the cheese at all. So it's an option, but I like it on my zucchini boats. So normally I would let this brown a little bit longer. But I'll give it one more stir and one more cover here, and then we will go ahead and get our zucchini stuffed and into the oven. Oh, I don't want to forget, actually I'm going to go ahead and add these so they cook a little bit as well. Really the timing of this is kind of flexible because everything's going to cook a little bit longer in the oven anyway. All right, so this is the inside of 2 smaller zucchini, and it's going to go right into the sauce that I'm making over here. And again, you could serve this over pasta. And there are a lot of different recipes for ways you can stuff zucchini. I've never tried it, but I've seen stuffed zucchini that uses like a buffalo chicken stuffing. So that would be fun to try as well. All right, so cover that up, get myself set up to transfer it over here and show you stuffing the boats. Smells really good. I love having that garlic handy and on hand so easily because then I can add it to many of my favorite recipes without having to worry about crushing that clove of garlic, which can be annoying. Let me turn my burner off. So the red and green colors look really pretty together. It's something my kids thought was cool because it's called a boat. So easy to spoon it in. As you see, I have a lot of extra sauce here. So definitely enough to serve on top of pasta or put in a casserole dish. Cover with a little cheese. And this makes for a great leftover meal also. They hold up really nicely as leftovers. And I tend to kind of overstuff them because people like picking the little bits that fall off on the side. All right, so that's probably about half of my stuffing. That was a pound of ground meat. You could certainly do it with a little bit less as well. You could do half a pound, depending on how many people you're serving. All right, so this is my mozzarella cheese. I always look for shredded cheese or even cheese that you would grate yourself that is part skim for mozzarella or 2%. That's going to reduce your saturated fat content a little bit, which are the less healthy fats. If you throw a little olive oil in here, those are unsaturated fats and they tend to be healthier for us. So using a lighter cheese is definitely preferred with this sort of recipe. And the 2% still melts pretty nicely on top of the boats. This is another step that my kids like helping with, sprinkling right on top. Let's use it all up. Okay, so I have my oven, if you can see, it's set to 400 this evening. That's just so it browns and bakes a little faster while we're talking. Normally I would probably bake these at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes. If your filling is fully cooked, then you just want enough time for that boat of zucchini to kind of soften up and become really palatable and delicious. So I'm going to slip it right in. And I thought, since there are kids watching, I might read one of my kids' favorite books while this is cooking. So when we were all home in March and starting to think about what we were going to do to stay active, I got this book. It's called Secrets of the Vegetable Garden. And it really got my kids interested in planting some seeds. I don't have a green thumb at all, so we didn't really have a lot of success there, but they did tell me that they were going to try radishes and going to try tomatoes, which are vegetables that they're typically not interested in if we grew them. My daughter especially has been a little bit more interested in trying different vegetables, so I think there are a lot of ways to get kids interested in trying vegetables. Certainly growing them could be a fun way to try new fruits and vegetables. Letting them help you pick them out at the grocery store. Another thing we've done recently is explore some local orchards We've gone peach picking and apple picking, and my kids have devoured peaches in a way that I've never seen them devour peaches before. So if you're looking to get your kids more interested in fruits and vegetables, involve them in the whole process of how that food gets from either the farm or the orchard or the garden to your table. Involve them in cooking, and I bet you that they will be interested in trying something new. So let's go ahead and read Secrets of the Vegetable Garden. Of course, this is a book that involves a flashlight, so this will be a little bit more challenging for me, but I'll do the best I can. So another thing my kids have liked is really enjoyed watching different videos of people reading. So maybe your kids will enjoy this as well. A vegetable garden grows under the sun if you look closely between the stalks, beneath the leaves, and in the soil. You will see the animals and plants living there. Shine a flashlight behind the page or hold it to the light to reveal what is hidden in and around the vegetable garden. Discover a small world of great surprises. The seed of a tomato plant has been sown in soil in a pot. When it has grown into a seedling, it will be planted outside. What 3 things does the seed need to grow? The seed needs water, warmth, and soil to grow. Birds eating seeds planted in the garden take to the air. Why are they flying away? I should have used the flashlight before, but here's a page for one. A scarecrow stands tall in the garden. It looks like a person, which scares the birds away from the seeds. Flap, flap! The tomato plant's roots grow strong under the soil. Which creatures are in the soil? This is a favorite of my son. I see worms. Worms break down leaves and pieces of dead plants. This makes food for growing plants. Wriggle, wriggle. Rabbits like to eat the weeds that grow in the garden. The gardener pulls the weeds out because the vegetables need space to grow. Can you see the gardener's tools? Let's see. They're in there. I see a shovel and a watering can. Creak. The gardener keeps tools in the shed. There's a spade for digging, a trowel for planting, a watering can for watering, and a rake for smoothing soil. New leaves on the tomato plant reach up towards the sun. Who is sheltering under the leaves? Oh, we saw so many of these this spring. Hard to see, but it's ladybugs. Whirr! 2 ladybugs have flown to the green leaves. They are spotted beetles with wings. Silky threads catch the light. Who could have made this web? There's a spider lurking there. Spin, spin, spin. A spider pulls silk from inside her body to weave a web. The silk is sticky and strong to catch insects for her dinner. The pitter-patter of the rain falls on the soil and plants, helping them to grow. Which animals feed in the rain? Can you think of any? There's one here. It's a little snail and a slug. Snails and slugs come out in the rain. They eat the leafy vegetables. Slither, slither. Gardeners do not like animals eating the vegetables. They can protect the plants with special sprays or nets. What's inside this cloche? Oh, that's interesting. It's covering some lettuce. The gardener has covered it to protect it from slugs and snails. Tap, tap, this little snail wants to get in. Small insects called aphids like to eat the juicy leaves. But another animal likes to eat the aphids. Can you see what it is? I I see some claws and a beak. Rustle. Birds like this thrush peck insects off the plants. The tomato plant has grown flowers. Bees carry pollen from one flower to another. This helps the tomatoes grow. Where is the pollen? Oh, there's a bee inside. A bumblebee picks up sticky pollen on its furry body. It visits the sweet-smelling flowers to sip nectar. Buzz! This plant is growing tall. Its tendrils twist around the trellis. What is growing in the pods? Do you know what vegetable grows inside pods? Can you see the little round things in there? There are peas growing in the pods. Pop! Green tomatoes are growing where the flowers once were. The leafy plants nearby are also growing vegetables. Can you see where they are? Some veggies grow underground. Potatoes and carrots grow under the ground. Dig, dig. Pumpkins and zucchini, the vegetable we're talking about tonight, grow above the soil. Who is nibbling a pumpkin leaf? There's a little tail down here and a little critter. A mouse is sneaking on a tasty leaf. Small animals find plenty to eat in a fruit and vegetable garden. Squeak! The vegetables and fruit are being harvested. Can you see what's in the wheelbarrow? I bet there's lots of good stuff. All sorts of veggies in there. There are tomatoes, carrots, potatoes, cabbages, zucchini, and a pumpkin. Yum! What's your favorite of those? Mine is probably zucchini. The harvested tomatoes are red and ripe. Look inside the fruit. Oh, I like this page. You can see the seeds. The tomato is full of seeds. Each seed can grow a new tomato plant. Chop! Some tomato seeds are saved so they can become new plants. The rest of the tomatoes are chopped into a salad with some lettuce. The vegetable garden will grow until fall. In spring, it will be time to sow seeds again. And the back of the book has a lot of great information about stuff from the garden. So, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. And let's check on our zucchini boats. I'm going to move my extra stuffing back over here. Grab a couple pot holders. And hopefully that cheese has gotten a little bit melty. Yum. Well, these look delicious. I'm going to just show you how I typically serve them. So really, I find that people enjoy a pretty generous helping. So I would cut one boat in half, just using a fork and knife. Kind of get the fork under there and scoop it up. Place it on the plate. Get any extra goodies you want. And we will try a little bite. Probably pretty hot, but I will blow on it. I'm guilty of eating my food too soon after it comes out of the oven. Delicious. That same flavor that you normally have on pasta, but with a little bit of a crunchy bite from the zucchini. So I hope you try it and enjoy it. Thanks. Bye.